part of it, though, comes back to that intuitive nature, right? So can we make the system as intuitive as possible so that when I log in today and there's a new feature, if I need that feature, it's obvious to me that that feature is there and my need has been satisfied. And so I don't object to the change as much, right? On the consumer side, it's a little bit easier because the consumer is going to do a transaction with us, and then hopefully 2 or 3 or 4 years later, when they're ready for their next home, they'll do that transaction with us again. But it's going to be a long time till we see them. Where on the partner side, hopefully every day, multiple times a day, they're working with us.
Yeah. So do you think it's an element also? I mean, the point you mentioned about being aware of when they're busy and when they can consume change, right, is important. Is there also an element of maybe broadcasting and kind of giving a heads up, if you will?
Sure.
This is coming.
Yeah.
Get everybody warm. No surprises, basically, right?
Yeah. I try to stay away from that word training, and the reason I try to stay away from it is because training implies a level of complexity where it means maybe the system wasn't as intuitive as it should have been or could have been, and that's obviously...
The iPhone didn't come with a manual.
That's right. Still doesn't. Right. But there is an aspect of information that we want to make sure partners understand. These things are changing. Here's how they're changing. We debate internally. Sometimes we might preserve an old, sort of call it the classic view and the new view, and let people decide how they want to migrate. That has some pros and cons to it, and there are some cost implications there. So all of this has to be kind of carefully thought about as you're going through that change management process.
Yeah. Very cool. Kind of looking, I guess, back in hindsight, if you had to do all of it all over again, is there anything you'd do differently?
Yeah, I mean, there's always learnings to be had, right? So I think one of our learnings is when we started this, we started on the direct-to-consumer side. And what happened as we started on that side, the indirect channel, the wholesale channel, or broker and correspondent channel, the system that we were on was not going to be able to support us on the go forward. And so we initially had not planned in the first year or two to really touch the broker and correspondent side, but rapidly it became apparent to us that we needed to re-architect and reinvent that system as well. So then we started with 2 projects, and they ran, although they shared many components, particularly on the security side and the data model side, although they shared many components, on the UI level and some functionality level, they were very different. And we ran that way for a couple of years, only to realize that although there are differences, they're more similar than dissimilar. And so with Tallan's help, we converged those and now have just one system to support. So, long-winded way of saying, if I had to do it all over again, we should have built one system from the beginning, not had 2 systems that we then had to converge into one system. Yeah. So I think that's my...
No, that's great. And that's what I want to do is give anybody listening some of these ideas. Obviously, like you said, we all can learn, and this is an opportunity for everybody else to learn from our experiences.